Hello, everybody. I have the absolute pleasure to introduce you to Renae Rodden. Hi, Renae. Thank you for doing this.
Hey, thank you for letting me be here. I'm happy to do it.
I am so excited to talk to you. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself? What is it that you do, where you do it, and what your role is at the dealership?
Okay, so I am a married mother of two grown kids out of the house, of course. I am a business owner and I've had a business for the last 8 years, and I decided I wanted to go do something different. So I started selling cars in July of this year. And I live in Waxahachie, which is in Ellis County, and I drive to Arlington, which is in Tarrant County. And I work at Don Davis Nissan.
Okay, you need to tell us a little bit more about that background. What were you doing before selling cars?
So I have a bedding business. I started selling bedding in 2017, sheets and blankets. I Not long after I started it, I started traveling. So I traveled all over Texas. 2 days a week, I would travel to different cities, whether it be Lubbock or Galveston or Longview or Corpus Christi, even. I went everywhere and traveled all over, and I met with people and sold sheets. It was pretty fun.
What made you start selling cars? Like, what was that transition? Tell us a story.
Well, it's kind of a bit of a sad story. Everything was really good. I made the most money that I've ever made, and my sheets were affordable. So it's not like I had them really high priced or anything. Everybody loved them. They are incredible. They're soft. So the thing was, social media was a huge part of that. I would post in groups, let people know that I'm going to be in your area on this day, and then people would come. I even one time I would meet in parking lots that didn't have anything to do with bedding. Like I wouldn't meet at Walmart or whatever because they sell sheets, of course. So I would meet at like Lowe's. Lowe's doesn't sell bedding.
Mhm.
So one time I met at Lowe's, and this was in Waco, and there were so many people in line. The manager came out and he was like, "What are you doing?" Like the line was like Six Flags long. Like it was
Wow.
long.
Wow.
I mean, it was kind of overwhelming. It was like, holy moly, what is this? So we obviously told him no problem. We'll go meet somewhere else. And so we went somewhere else. And I've only had that happen twice where the manager came out and was like, what's going on? But unfortunately, social media changed and nobody was ever able to see my post.
Mhm.
I think it's posts that get a lot of attention. That's the problem. So that was the issue, and I have never been able to recover it to the extent that it was for many years. So I finally decided to make a change, and I do still sell them. I just sell them in my area and I ship them and things like that.
Why car sales?
I wanted something that I believed in, something that I was familiar with. I wouldn't say that I knew it super well, but I also wanted something that I didn't have a cap on my income. I wanted to be able to make as much as I wanted to make.
Yeah. Oh, that makes total sense. So, do you remember when you started? This was July, so this was about 3 months ago.
hmm
Do you remember what was your biggest fear or like your biggest challenge that first month that you had to overcome?
Well, first of all, it was, of course, talking to the customer and not knowing everything about the car. I mean, obviously, I know some things, but I didn't know everything, and not knowing what to say. And then, of course, getting that initial, "Oh, you're the salesperson?"
Did that happen a lot? Like,
It still happens. I answered the phone yesterday, just yesterday, and I was talking to the customer, and they were like, "Okay, so who am I going to be talking to when I get there?" And I said, "You're gonna ask for me. My name's Renee." And they said, "Oh, you're the salesperson?" And I said, "Yeah." And they said, "So you're the one that's going to be selling me the car?" I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Okay." They were very confused.
yeah, what do you think that was about?
I think it's just predominantly a male um, career for the most part, and people are surprised when they see women. And obviously there's been women in this industry for many years, but it's a very low percentage. So it's such a low percentage that people are not used to it. They're not. I guess they just don't grasp it. It's a thing. We have 4 women that work at our dealership
Hmm. That's
out of
amazing.
20.
That's the most that I have heard on any
Really?
store that I have seen. So let me ask you something. If there's somebody who's listening right now and they're experiencing the same thing and they're kind of taken aback by customers being surprised that they're going to be served by a woman car salesperson, what would you advise them? What would you tell them about it?
Just don't make a big deal out of it. Don't be offended. I try not to let it bother me. I just, give them um, the assurance that I am a salesperson and I'm going to help them. And everybody's always been very nice. I've never had any issues. I've even had people specifically ask for a woman because it was a woman. Because I think sometimes women buying cars can be intimidated by men salespeople. But I just don't let it bother you, and don't let it change your mindset, because if you do that, you're going to struggle. I just assured them, yes, I'm the salesperson. I'm going to be taking care of you, and I look forward to meeting you. And I just move on.
Amazing. I love that tip. So, what do you think is the biggest misconception that women have when they enter this field that you would like to dispel right away? Before we hear the answer to that really juicy question from our guest, I wanted to tell you how I found her, how she ended up on this video in this interview. I found her on TikTok because she had a strong presence, because she was using the right hashtags, because she knew what she was doing. And that is how your customers find you. That is how you establish your authority in the marketplace. That is how car salespeople make their mark and take control of their careers, by being online. And you need to be on TikTok if you're not already. My name is Ina. I'm the AutoSocialGal, and I'm a social media strategist for car salespeople, for car dealerships. And I have helped hundreds of people with their online presence over the past decade. And now, for the first time ever, I have created a Mastering TikTok for Car Sales course that you can have right now and learn everything I know about how to show up on TikTok, attract your right customers, and also make the experience be right for you. It doesn't have to be silly dances. It doesn't have to be complicated scripts or skits. It can be whatever you want it to be. And in this course, I really put everything that I know so that you can have the kind of presence that is going to make you go from unknown to unforgettable, so that people want to drive 2 hours out of their way to come and buy cars from you. I have you with the list of equipment that you need, with all of the TikTok features. I am going to show you exactly around the app. I'm going to show you how to simplify the analytics process. You don't have to know everything right off the bat to be successful. I'm going to show you how to stand out with your unique personality. I'm going to show you the viral examples so that they inspire you and you know exactly what to post, and so much more. And all of this can be yours right now. And I want to give you a very special $15 off code. The price of the course is going to keep changing. I just put this out there, and the price is going to continue to increase. So don't rest thinking that the price is going to stay the same, and grab this code right here for your $15 off, no matter what the price of the course is. Just code this QR code, take a picture of this QR code, or go to autosocialgal.com/TT for TikTok, get it? And use the code YTGals. That stands for YouTube Gals, so that I know you came from this video and you're coming from here. It's all in that QR code. If you go to autosocialgal.com/TT, it already has the code baked into it, and you can go and grab it right now, because I want to see you on TikTok so that I can go and invite you to be on this YouTube channel, elevate your authority, and inspire others. All right, now let's go back to the interview.
That first, that they can't do it. I think that people are surprised that women are in this industry and excel. I've gotten a lot of people that were surprised when I set a lot of appointments. You can kind of tell they're kind of thinking, I wonder if those are real appointments. Well, they're probably not going to show up, or she's probably not going to be able to do it. And then whenever you do successfully sell cars, they're kind of like, who's giving you leads? Who has given you those, you know, leads that are just a done deal basically before they walk in the door? And you have to kind of assure them, no, they're actually people that I had to talk to and I had to work with and I had to actually sell the car to them. It wasn't a freebie, if you will.
Yeah, I'd love for you to speak a little bit to that, especially to if there are other salespeople that are listening to this conversation. Um, like, what is your message for them so we can turn this around so that we can all understand we're all here doing a job, and when we do it well, it really doesn't serve anybody to be, discounting how you got the leads or how you got the sales. What would you say, like, to the industry in general about this phenomenon? How do we fix this?
I think it just basically comes down to women continuing to not um, be intimidated in an industry. For instance, welding. There's a lot of women who weld, and that's typically a man's job, or typically men are in that role. We'll put it that way. Or being a mechanic. I mean, you see women mechanics. Just don't let that deter you or intimidate you in any way. And then, of course, for the men out there that may be, confused that a woman can actually do one of these things, just we all can do different things. There's women that do predominantly male roles and vice versa. So you just have to continue to do what you do. Don't let it affect you. Don't let it slow you down, and just take it with a grain of salt, because it's just a mindset, and eventually people will get used to it. I mean, everybody's been super kind to me, don't get me wrong, but there have been quite a few people that are like, how did you get all those appointments and how did you sell all those cars?
They just seem confused by it for some
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
Um, do you actually have a favorite customer story that comes to mind?
Let's see. You know, there's been so many different ones, but probably my favorite one is going to be a woman that she was maybe my second customer when I started. And she was looking for a vehicle that she had, but she wanted a newer one. But she needed to be in a certain payment range, and we couldn't get there. Well, I'm not one of those people that gives up. So she was always in the back of my mind, and I remembered her first name. I was having a hard time remembering her last name. So I searched through the leads and I found her. And I told her, I said, well, maybe we could get you in on a pre-owned vehicle, and get you to the payment that you need to be at. So she was open to it. And she, wanted a specific color, which we get that. So anyway, I finally got her in, and we ended up getting her in a new one, and getting her not exactly at the payment she wanted, but it wasn't far. It was enough that she was like, I can definitely do that. Anyway, she was very happy with her purchase, and I have a bowl on my desk with candy, and somebody told me this a long time ago. If you want people to come in and talk to you and not be afraid to, get to know you, put something in your office that makes people walk in and go, oh, can I have a piece? So I did, and it works wonders. Everybody will come in and they'll chat with you, and they'll grab a piece of candy and kind of get a little boost of sugar. So I had a bowl of candy there, and I was out. I had like one piece left. And so one of the salespeople had come in while she was in there, and they were like, oh no, you're out of candy. And he said, can I have that one piece that's left? And she goes, not until we get my deal done. She goes, when we get my deal done, then you can have candy. And so it became kind of a joke. So anyway, she came back 3 days later and brought everybody candy.
Oh,
She
that's
was
amazing.
Yeah, she was so excited about her car, and, finally getting it, because I mean, this is obviously 3 months later that she gets it, but she did end up getting the deal, and brought everybody candy. So it was really sweet, and a little card thanking us.
That is amazing. I love that story.
Yeah.
And I love the tip on having candy. I just imagine a whole bowl of like Ferrero Rocher chocolates. This is my favorite.
Right.
Um, let's switch gears and talk a little bit about social media. So, how important is social media for car salespeople?
Very important. Very, very, very important. So I, of course, have a following because I do have a podcast and I do have my business. So I was able, that's another thing that kind of helped me out. But I was able to post consistently and get it out there that I'm selling cars. And I have people tagging me consistently. When somebody's looking for a car, they'll tag me. But it's very important. But the key to it is not just posting, you have to post every single day.
Tell me more about that, please.
I mean, everything in this business is being consistent, calling the leads, posting, making people know. But you have to, every day, you have to post, I would say between 2 and 5 posts a day. And you got to do it everywhere. You got to do your stories, you got to do on your reels, you got to do it on your TikTok, you got to do it on your Instagram. I actually had a story, and this wasn't a positive story, but I just felt like doing story time, and I did it on TikTok. Didn't mention a name, of course. I would never do that, but I kind of just wanted people's opinions on it because I was a little put off by this situation, and I've never got more views than I got on that.
Hmm.
It's somewhere in the neighborhood of like 60 something thousand views on it. I've never gotten anything like that, but I was like, wow. And a lot of followers. I was at like 1,000 on TikTok, and I'm now at like 1,600 just from
Okay.
that story.
What do you think brought people to that story?
I guess because it was just a true heartfelt story about a situation that happened, and I just kind of wanted people's opinions. And then I did a part two because I was actually at the grocery store sitting in my car, and you know how you're thinking, and I thought, I think I'm going to do that because I just wanted people's opinions. And then I stopped it because you could see people behind me in my car walking, in the parking lot. And so then I did part two later, and people wanted to know what happened, that kind of thing. And it was interesting for sure.
Would you say that's a good tip for everybody? How do you encapsulate that story into a tip for everybody on social media?
That one was a little bit of a difficult one because it was a customer that wanted to buy a vehicle, and I kind of gear myself towards helping people. I'm not pushy, I'm not salesy. I mean, obviously I'm going to help you make a good decision, but I'm more of I want to help you get the vehicle that you need or whatever. And so this particular woman had a situation like that. She desperately needed something. She needed to get out of her vehicle. She needed to get into a new one. She needed to be at a certain price point. She had no down payment, and she had challenge credit. So it was a challenge.
Hmm.
We worked on it really hard. And then we had some things that happened that made it almost not happen. And I handled that head on. I literally went and called the finance company and talked to them and verified that she was actually approved. So we didn't let her take possession of the car right away because we wanted to make sure that it was definitely a go. So we had to wait like 2 or 3 days. Finally called her. She was constantly checking with me, wanting to know if it was, done. We finally get it done. I call her. She's excited. She never picked up her car. She decided that it wasn't the best thing for her. And I guess it was something to do with her husband because he ended up writing a bad review and saying some not nice words. And I've never even met the man. So it was just weird. But I guess my advice to people is things are going to happen. Everybody has weird situations, and everybody's going through something. And I was more upset with the fact that he wrote me a bad review when I didn't even do anything or ever meet him. And I did nothing but work my tail off for her. So it was just a weird story. And I think people just wanted to know the outcome.
Yeah. So it seems like sharing it that would be kind of called like a vulnerable post, kind of like
Yeah,
something that is a really honest question that you have for the audience,
right.
that they actually responded to. You think that that played a part in it?
Yes. Yeah, they
For
really
sure.
wanted to know how it came out, and I had a couple of people that blamed me, which it's okay because I knew it wasn't me. I didn't do anything wrong. I think the situation is anytime you call a dealership and you give your information, it's going to always be there,
Hmm.
and so his number was already in there. And when she ended up buying the car and got approved and everything was final, they sent a thank you to all numbers listed.
Hmm.
Well, his number was listed, and I guess he got
Oops.
upset because she
Yeah.
bought a car. I don't know. But anyway, that's how that went. And she ended up not taking the car. So
Yeah.
it
Well,
was weird.
sounds like their mutual problem rather than something that you did wrong or something that, but
Yes,
yeah, but having to
exactly.
deal with that, it's like it's part of the job. And I think you handle it marvelously. I
Yeah,
think you
thank
did
you.
great. Um, what is your best social media hack?
Um, Probably I would say I you'd have to do stories several times a day. And that really gets a lot of attention. And I typically will post and then hashtag kind of subjects, but my biggest hack is going to be Chat GPT. So every time I sell a car, I get on Chat GPT and I talk to it like I'm talking to you. And I say, okay, today was cell number two. This lady came in looking for a vehicle and she had challenge credit. We didn't know if we were going to be able to get her done. Um, and then she wanted a red one. We almost didn't find it. We finally found it and we got her approved at the price she wanted. She was super happy. And then I say, now word it better. I don't know why I find the need to say that, but I do. And it puts it in a great little post. It makes it sound perfect. And then I copy and paste it. I put the picture of the customer that I take of them in front of their vehicle and I post it. And so I do that every time I sell a car.
Amazing. That's a great tip. I love the ChatGPT starting to talk a little bit about how include AI
Yeah.
in our process.
Yes.
Okay, so we're winding down a little bit, but I have a question that I've been asking everybody. I'm really curious to your answer.
Okay.
I want you to imagine that I just put you on a stage and you're in a stadium filled with car saleswomen. What is your message to them? What is it that you want them to know or to do or to think about? What's your message?
Number one, don't be intimidated by it being a predominantly male career, because anybody can do this. And not being an expert in cars, you can still do it. You're going to learn, just like with any job, you're going to learn. Just be focused, um, set goals, and then figure out what you're going to do to arrive at those goals. And don't let the male versus female even deter you for a second. Just focus on what you're going to do, focus on how much money you're going to make, and how you're going to help people, and you'll do great.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with everyone.
You're welcome.
So please tell everybody what you have going on right now, where you want people to go and find you. Tell us where to go and follow you.
Okay, so I'm on Facebook, Drive with Renae. That's kind of my tagline. And then, of course, on Facebook, I'm Renae Wells Rodden. I work at Don Davis Nissan in Arlington, Texas. I do have a TikTok, and it is under my name, and it also says Drive with Renae. I'm on Instagram as well, Drive with Renae. Um, and mostly, I do most of my posting on my regular Facebook page. I am available by email, which is drivewithrenee@yahoo.com.
Amazing. We're going to put all those links below. And you also host a true crime podcast. Can you
I,
tell us the name of the podcast so everybody can go and listen to it?
I do. It's called True Crime Broads. We started it in 2020 because of a specific case, the Missy Beavers case, and it is unsolved. In April of 2026, it will be 10 years. So we started in 2020 to keep the case alive, keep talking about it, to keep it going. My co-host Crystal Lawson and I both, have continued to do this case, and we're actually recording today.
Amazing. So we'll also put the link to your podcast below. Renae, thank you so much for your time and for doing this. This has been amazing.
Absolutely. Thank you for doing it. I appreciate the angle of focusing on women in an industry that is predominantly male. So I think it's great.
Yeah, and let's let it grow. So thank you so much for being a part of it. You've been amazing.
Thank you.